Welcome to There's No Place Like Home, the radio show coming to you on WRXB 1590 AM and Pinellas County Connection TV. This program is presented to you as an opportunity to hear information that can help you fulfill your dream of owning your very own home. We also share information about upcoming special events and programs to help you enjoy the good life in Pinellas County, as well as other items of interest. The sponsor of this program is the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County, which offers the First-Time Homebuyer Program, your key to home ownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of home ownership a reality. I'm Frank Bowman alongside Jane Merlin, your host for today's show. Good morning, Jane. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. Looking forward to the holiday season coming up here and hopefully having some very cost-effective and pleasant times.
Yeah, and you know, it's so great that we've got a returning guest who's going to be joining us in a moment. James Stevenson is the Extension Specialist with the University of Florida's Pinellas County Extension, and he's going to have some great tips for us on how we can enjoy the holiday season without spending a lot of money. And he's got some unique ideas and tips to share with us. But before we get into that, I know you've got an update from our sponsor.
That's correct, Jane. The Housing Finance Authority, or the HFA as we refer to them, is offering its First-Time Homebuyers Program for individuals in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties who have never owned a home, have not owned a home in the last 3 years, or who are veterans or active duty service people. The HFA offers a low rate on its Home Key mortgage, which is a 30-year fixed rate. And if you need a little help with down payment and closing costs, they can help with that too with the Home Key second mortgage. In addition to the First-Time Homebuyer Program, we would like to remind everyone about Pinellas County's newest housing initiatives for veterans, Proud Ground Pinellas. This program offers quality homes at incredible prices. To get your key to home ownership or a Proud Ground Pinellas home for veterans and active military personnel, call 727-464-8210 or visit the website at www.pinellascounty.org/community/HFA. And by the way, that's the same number to reach us for more information or comments about the show. Or you can email us at housingfinanceauthority@pinellascounty.org. You can also catch past shows by logging on to the website, and you can watch us on YouTube. Jane?
Thank you, Frank. And boy, it's good timing for the folks who may be interested in having a new home for the holidays.
That's very true. Great opportunities out there.
Absolutely. Well, as I mentioned before, one of our favorite guests is returning to join us today, James Stevenson. He's going to be sharing some tips with us on how we can be kind to the environment and save some money. And he's an extension specialist with County Extension and has been with the county now for 5 years. And it's always great to welcome you to There's No Place Like Home, James.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back.
So glad that you're here. And, you know, you have recently changed locations. I previously knew you from when you were at the Largo Extension office, but you have made a little trek up north to Brooker Creek Preserve.
That's right. The Pinellas County Extension Services provide the educational opportunities and classes at both of the county preserves, one in Wheaton Island in St. Petersburg and Brooker Creek Preserve in the North County in Tarpon Springs. And so my office is now up there, and I couldn't be happier. It's an absolutely wonderful, beautiful place. The wildlife, the plants, the animals, it's just very tranquil, and it's like being in a different country almost.
That would be a nice place to have an office, huh, Frank?
Oh, it would be lovely. Can you imagine how delightful lunchtime would be?
Exactly.
Go outside into paradise.
And watching the seasons change, and it's just wonderful. Really
and a great way to decompress, you know, after a long day at work, right? So tell us what some of your new responsibilities are now that you're up at Brooker Creek Preserve.
Well, I'm still teaching sustainability because, of course, it's important that we extend information from the university on how to save money and save the environment at the same time, live lightly on the land, and have the quality of life that we're accustomed to. So some of the programming is still the same up in Brooker Creek. We're doing energy efficiency and sustainable living. But this also gives me the opportunity to kind of flex my my botanical wings. My background, of course, is in botanical studies and botanical gardens, so I can offer classes on the plants that are up there and the plant communities and the importance of the different natural systems that keep the preserve a preserve. Fire is an important part in Florida's past and maintaining the very different ecosystems that we have up there. So education on ecosystems, education on wildlife and plants and animals and all the things that people go to a preserve to enjoy.
And we were chatting earlier before the show started and learned that there's actually going to be a 4-H up at that location too.
Correct. 4-H, of course, is the youth component of Extension, and 4-H operates by forming clubs throughout the county, and we're very glad to have formed a 4-H club at Brooker Creek. It's called the Brooker Creek Explorers, and families can come together and do 4-H curriculum-based activities that not only are fun and engaging and provide these kids, these children, the kind of experiences they are interested in, but there's also the educational component in the background about good land stewardship and living lightly on the earth and saving resources, which is what we're all about.
And lately, I have been seeing a lot more listings in the media and county news releases. You've got programs going up at Brooker Creek almost every weekend, aren't you?
Correct. We like to load our schedule up. We like to have a program, an educational program, a fun activity-based program, just about every weekend. We have weekly guided hikes at 9 o'clock, and those are free, and those are very accommodating to any age group. And once a month we have a very early, an 8 o'clock a.m. Bird hike. So getting up with the early birds, as it were, and having a look to see some of the wonderful bird life that we have at Brooker Creek.
And now that we've moved out of the extreme wet season, it's a little easier getting around up in Brooker Creek.
Absolutely. Yep. The paths are always passable, but some of our trails, you're absolutely right. After this wet summer, we're absolutely underwater, which made hiking a challenge.
An extra fun experience.
Correct. But around the educational center, we have boardwalks.
Oh, yes.
So it's perfectly acceptable to never step off the trails or the boardwalks and still have that experience.
So you can feel like you're walking in a swamp, but not really because your feet aren't wet.
Exactly.
That's right.
Right.
But you do have those opportunities to get your feet a little wet for those who are a little more into the extreme side of things.
Absolutely.
Now, where is Brooker Creek?
It's just off of Keystone Road. Brooker Creek Preserve is about 9,000 acres, so you certainly can't miss it from the air. But from the land, it's off of Keystone Road in Tarpon Springs, where East Lake and Keystone, not far from that intersection.
It's to the east of East Lake Road.
Correct.
So.
You're absolutely right. And the Education Center, where we have interpretive displays, a resource center, and really jolly volunteers that are more than happy to orientate our visitors to the place. The Education Center is open from Thursday to Saturday from 9 to 4. And there's talk in upcoming in the beautiful weather months that we're entering into now of actually extending those hours a bit. So again, check our website to find out about what might be extended hours. But Thursday to Saturday from 9 to 4. The trails are always open, and there's certainly plenty of parking and an opportunity to have a nice walk around whenever you feel like.
Fantastic. Have you been up there lately?
I have. I was up there this summer, which is why I commented on the somewhat damp trails. But I think Brooker Creek and the Weeden Island Preserve are two of the gems in the county, and people who have not been there really need to make an effort to go see them.
Yeah, even if you live in South County, it's worthwhile to take a trip up to Brooker Creek and enjoy the preserve. So I would encourage people who have not done that yet to do so, and if it's been a while, get back up there.
Right.
Well, let's jump right into the topic. We're talking about sustainable holiday season and being not only kind to the environment, but kind to your wallet. Many people have new traditions where, at least in my family, we no longer do gift exchanges with the adults. We'll do something for the little ones. But for those who are into the gift giving, what tips do you have?
Well, it starts in families. It really does start with a discussion. it starts, early in the season. Let's talk about what's real here and getting everybody in the family together, talking about, what we want, what we need, what we might be able to live without, and really just having that dialogue about what's realistic for our family. Not in a downer kind of way, but in a realistic kind of way. Once you've had that discussion and decided what works out best for you, then it's time to start thinking about, how you're going to make that possible. We all expect a certain level of, our lifestyle. We have a lifestyle that we're accustomed to. How are we going to meet that without going into debt, which of course is certainly not sustainable at all, and yet still meeting those needs and wants that we have, and perhaps postponing, making something to look forward to. Here are the 5 things that I would like from my family. Let's meet that out over the year, and but having that discussion is what's most important.
And of course, bringing the family together, realizing how important we are to one another, and not only to our family members, but also to the people in our community, that really emphasizes the essence and spirit of Christmas more than a lot of the commercial approaches.
And all of the holidays that are associated with gifts. The gift is a representation of love, and it might not necessarily have to be a tangible object. I have a deficiency in the ability to decorate. I cannot, for the life of me, put furniture, but I have a friend who loves it. And as a gift to me, she can come, and she will quite happily, and arrange items in my home, because that's something that she likes to do, and she can do it for me. So a gift of service can be just as loving as a gift of an item, because really we don't need more stuff. Stuff is not sustainable. And so a gift of service, a gift of kindness, a gift of time, because that's something that a lot of us are kind of running low on. Help someone out in that way, and consider that as a real gift, something that really is meaningful.
That's a great idea.
That is a wonderful idea, and there is no greater gift than being able to give somebody your time and talent. And using it in a creative way like that lends itself to all sorts of possibilities, doesn't it?
Yep, it sure does. I have a nephew who I am going to give the gift of money, but that is in exchange for his service. So I'm going to hire my 14-year-old nephew to do a service around my house, painting the garage door, something like that. He then benefits, and I benefit as well. And there's not a thing that is left as a result of that, except a mutual exchange. So
I think that's great. Now, a lot of people are going to be doing big family holiday meals, and I know that in the past you have given us some great ideas about some kind of non-traditional things to do during holiday meals. Tell us about that.
Well, it's important to note straight off that a lot of food is wasted during the holiday season. And food waste is a shameful fact of American culture. So, again, planning ahead of time. When you're planning your meals, make sure that you know exactly how much you're going to get. Don't over-purchase. Make sure to prepare food properly and save food properly so that you can perhaps use it again without any risk of any problems like that. We have at Extension, our Families and Consumer Science Division has a lot of information on how to purchase food and prepare food, especially for the holidays. So if you need information on that, certainly turn to Extension. But in our family, we've chosen to kind of get away from the quote-unquote traditional holiday recipes and holiday dishes. We decided that, maybe we don't actually like that food. And our family, we all grew up in Florida. We all grew up near the coast, and we're particularly fond of our local seafood. Mm-hmm. And so we, at Thanksgiving, we give thanks to the sea, and we have, it's stone crab season and mullet and all these wonderful things that we have right from our own waters, right from locally. Couldn't be any fresher. And we just kind of celebrate Neptune around Thanksgiving time, and it extends into Christmas as well. So
Which is such a great idea, and just making tribute to what we already have in the and it helps the local
Our
economy
local
as well,
economy,
doesn't
exactly, right.
That's very, very important. And again, all these things are elements of sustainability. Helping one another, buying locally, trying to reduce waste and things like that. I know one of the things that's very important in sort of an economical, sustainable food or eating process is to really, when you're thinking about buying main dishes, think about how they can be reused as leftovers. Not necessarily eating the same thing again, but recreating it into something new so that you can use up all the products that you have at the holiday dinner, and they become something different during the next week.
That's good home economics.
Well, it strikes me, Frank, when you were talking about that, that's what we used to do. When we were younger, growing up, that's what, at least in my family, that's what my mother did. You just got creative with the rest of the meals for that week. And what goes around comes around, I guess.
That's true. Good ideas remain good over the long haul. I mean, back in times when people didn't have as much resources, similar to what a lot of families are experiencing today, these kinds of things were regular habits. And we need to remember those and reuse those. Good to perhaps include grandparents and all in some of these discussions because they definitely have experience.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Well, one of the things that always drives me crazy during the holidays for those opportunities when I do have to purchase something is the amount of packaging that a lot of these items come in. Is there anything that we can do as consumers to end that?
The best thing that we can do is just make the choices. Our choices then will drive the industry, but it takes a lot of people making similar choices in order to turn that battleship around, if you will. Make your choices based on the amount of packaging. Buy things with the least amount of packaging. Buy things that come in packaging that can be either reused or recycled. We're all getting used to checking the chasing arrows symbol, the triangular chasing arrow symbol with the recycling, if it's recyclable, and checking the number within those chasing arrows to see if the plastic that this item is contained can be recycled. That is the only way that we can really affect a change in packaging, is just to not demand it, and make our choices based on those recyclable, reusable, or absent packaging.
And, you're absolutely correct. The product distribution folks are paying very close attention to volume of sales. And if we as consumers tend to purchase the products in recycled packaging more than we do the others, everybody will begin to shift to that.
That's right. Everybody wants to jump on board of whatever's most popular.
And or be a little more cynical, whatever is making the most money.
Sure.
Now, talking about decorating, and you had a great idea for a gift, but what about decorating for the holidays?
Well, I obviously am not one to decorate, but yes, there are certainly loads of ways of reusing past seasons' decorations, maybe not purchasing new, but using old, making things yourself, making that a family activity to make decorations. My grandmother used to make wreaths out of found objects that she would find on a walk in the woods, pine cones and seed pods and those sorts of things. And we treasure those because they were handmade and then given, and they were all found objects from her property, that items that she collected in her property. So consider a craft for decorations. And reusing older, visit thrift stores. A good place to find, and they've all got their stuff. I've already seen it. They've got their decorations. Why not use someone else's? And there you save. You can get new, quote unquote, new items, new to you, but at a discounted price, saving yourself some money. And again, supporting oftentimes a charity who run the various thrift shops throughout the county.
That is so true. Just a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I went to the hospice thrift store, and there is a woman there who takes great pride in organizing all of their Christmas decorations, and she makes wreaths in the same fashion you talked about, different items that come in. There were absolutely gorgeous wreaths. Some of them is almost 3 feet in diameter, selling for like $15 to $30. And it's, you go to a department store for something like that, and it's $100.
Right.
So the thrift store idea is excellent for decorations, and they're just loaded with them at this time of year.
And as far as a tree is concerned, a lot of people many people who celebrate Christmas like to have a tree in their house. That, of course, when it comes time to take that down, make sure that you take part in your municipality's or the county's recycling program, where the trees are collected and then turned into mulch that can be used again and not simply ending up in the landfill. So with that regards, if you would like a live tree, bear in mind that a lot of Christmas trees are not necessarily suited to our climate. We're not up east, as it were, where a lot of these Christmas tree farms are. So consider a native plant. It might be very different than a traditional Christmas tree, but that could be a new tradition. A native holly, for example, that you could then plant after the holidays are over in your own garden. So again, adding wildlife to your own backyard by providing food and habitat.
I really like the idea of the non-traditional of everything, and I love the idea of the holly tree. That's perfect. And you could still bring that. I mean, it needs very little decoration.
Absolutely.
At
It's
that
there
point.
full of berries of its own. Yeah.
Yeah, great idea.
And if after the season you take it and put it in a large container, that'd be available again next year, being an even larger and nicer tree.
Haul it back in year to year. Sure. And holly trees can actually be pruned into the traditional shape.
And another idea might be to actually utilize some of the programs and services that you have at Extension. You could take some previous Christmas cards, make those into a coupon book, and give some classes that are available at Extension. What kind of classes might people
That's a great idea.
enjoy?
You could sign your friends or family up to one of our classes that we have throughout the county, both at the education centers of Weeden Island and Brooker Creek Preserve, or the office in Largo. You sign up online, you get a coupon, you get a little ticket. You can actually print out a ticket for that class and give that as a gift. Our classes are free, but the thought of thinking of someone else and providing them the opportunity to go and learn something that they might be interested in but might not sign themselves up for. Sign them up for one of our energy conservation classes. Our energy conservation classes provide citizens with information on how to maintain their level of comfort and yet saving money on their electricity bill, which is important to a lot of people. And we provide materials and resources to make those changes in your life. We also have, for the more environmentally minded, we have Weeden Island Preserve, and the classes offered out there are generally focused around coastal issues, marine life, wildlife that's associated with the coast, the mangroves and saltwater. Salty Topics is one of the ongoing series up at Weeden Island. And at Brooker Creek, our focus is more on the woods and the watershed. So we have classes on all the denizens of the woods and the watershed. So we have classes on ferns and the epiphytes and orchids that you might find at Brooker Creek, and also wildlife. We have very popular programs on individual species and groups of species like bats. We have a very popular bat program that we run up there. Snakes, and reptiles and gopher tortoise and all the things that people are looking for. So keep an eye on our website and our classes, and that's a great idea to sign your friends or family up to some of our classes.
And Jane, your idea of coupons or gifts of service, as James said earlier, if you wanted to, if you were a young person, a teenager or something, and your parents or your grandparents, you could offer, washing the car, mowing the yard, and things like that people will really appreciate. And giving of yourself really not only is it more economical in terms of dollars, but it really does make the giver feel much better a lot of times than just running to the store and buying something. Is
a thing.
Giving of your time and service is really, really very a wonderful feeling when you do that.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's much more personal, meaningful gift.
Mm-hmm. And I know several families, my own included, in the last several years, we have extended that kind of service to some of the nonprofit organizations serving very low-income folks or homeless folks. And that's another good family activity, is putting everybody together and going and providing service to people who are really, really in need. And I think, the extension program teaches a lot of these things.
Sure. We have all sorts of information on how to get involved. Community development is another focus of extension, and helping out, because we do all depend on each other. We don't live on islands. We are a community.
For a lot of people, they're going to be doing some entertaining. They're going to have people over during the holidays. It can be very stressful for the host. What tips do you have for people who may be having folks visiting for the holidays?
Well, again, the holidays are a time of coming together and sharing in love for each other, of our family, of our friends. So that has to be forefront. It's very important not to get stressed out. Not everything has to be perfect. We're all human. This is only once a year. Relax. Ease into the season. Don't take on more than you can handle. Don't feel like everything has to be perfect. And again, get everyone involved. Make any sort of entertaining a group activity where your guests might actually take part in some of the preparation. That could be fun. I mean, I quite enjoy getting in other people's kitchens and playing with their gadgets and things that they might have. Make that a part of your entertainment, and don't feel like that it's all down to you, that everything has to be perfect, and that meal has to come out of the oven at a particular second on a particular hour and be absolutely perfect. It's more about being together and sharing in happiness than putting yourself under undue pressure, because that's not good for anyone.
And that shouldn't be what the holidays are about.
Absolutely
You shouldn't
not.
be feeling stressed out during the holidays, for sure.
Correct.
Exactly. And a lot of these things that I've incorporated into our family's life have really made the holidays much more pleasant. The rat race, the perceived demand to have to go out and buy presents and go to the turmoil at the stores, it's just not getting it in terms of the holiday spirit. And in today's world, a lot of people have to find more cost-effective ways to celebrate, and they may find through necessity that they're finding a better way.
And I think that these tips are not good just for the holiday season, but these are good tips for any holiday, any occasion. You can enjoy a sustainable celebration without spending a lot of money, and use your creativity.
Right. It's just, what is it? Thinking outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
Just think around your issues. And if you need any help, Extension is here with this free information on how to make those decisions, how to make those choices.
And give us the website one more time.
It's PinellasCountyExtension.org. All one word, PinellasCountyExtension.org.
Well, great. Well, it's hard to believe that we are already out of time. And James, I want to thank you so much for joining us again to give us all the wonderful holiday tips and the great opportunities that are available to us all at County Extension, both in Largo and up at Brooker Creek Preserve.
Thank you.
We also want to thank Pinellas County Communications and, of course, our friends at WRXB 1590 AM. And we hope that you will join us again next month. And don't forget to contact us if you need more information about this show or would like to provide us any feedback. I'm Jane Merlin.
And I'm Frank Bowman.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, there's no place like home.